Hello. Today I'm talking about something a little bit different to what I usually talk about, and I thought I'd have a discussion about lip fillers. So the elephant in the room is that yes, I have had my lips refilled. If you've been watching my channel for a couple of years, you'll know that I've had them done previously, many years ago, and so I thought I'd kind of talk about that. Firstly, because I didn't want to just carry on making YouTube videos when I've obviously had lip fillers and not mention it, because I think it's something that should be spoken about. Also because a small portion of my viewers are under 18, and so I do feel a little bit of responsibility for how I influence my audience, and I think that these things should just be discussed. I should also there's so much to unpack in this video, but I should also mention that there is so much around this topic that I'm obviously not gonna have time to discuss in one video. So there's gonna be lots that doesn't get covered in this video, but I'm just gonna be talking about some of the things that have been on my mind, some of the things that I haven't really heard many people talk about, but there will be photos and footage of my lips and my journey. I am totally in contradiction in my own head constantly about this topic. I have been both for and against. I'm still kind of in the middle, I guess. I can see both sides of the story with it. I can see why people don't like it and don't agree with it. I can see why people do. I feel sometimes like a hypocrite in my own head because I am constantly at war with my own opinions. Do I believe this? Do I not? Is it bad? Is it not? So I thought it'd be interesting to discuss this. This is another thing that I am constantly thinking, but I don't really hear anyone else talk about. And it's the fact that our generation are kind of like the guinea pigs of fillers. I'm going to talk about this later on in the video, but I think about this all the time and I think it's quite serious and people should think about it more, but yeah, we'll discuss it later. So my fillers, why I got them. I'm just going to talk briefly. I do have a video when I first got my fillers, which you're welcome to go watch. I'll leave it in the description, but it is very outdated. There's a lot of things in that video that I'm kind of I wouldn't really have put that across that way anymore. The reason I got lip fillers initially was I just wanted to see what they looked like. I thought they looked really fun. I wasn't particularly insecure about my lips. I felt fine with my face, but I just thought, you know, it would be a bit of fun, let's see what it looks like. December of 2017, I got 1 mil. I was at university at the time and I really liked them and I didn't really know how long they would last. They were doing this deal where if you get them done again in the next 2 months, you get half the price or something. I can't quite remember, but it was a good deal, and so I thought I'd go for it. So I got another mil put in, and so they were really, really huge this time because obviously there was a lot left over from the first time. And looking back, I do think maybe they were a bit too big. They kind of looked a bit ridiculous sometimes, but I absolutely loved them. I remember I had my 22nd birthday and I just felt like the most beautiful I'd ever felt. I felt so sexy. I felt so I just felt so good with these massive lips. And that's when I realized that this could be potentially very problematic. Not only was it very expensive if I wanted to keep doing this, but if I liked the way I looked so much with these fillers, is this now gonna have to be a thing that I'm gonna have to do every 6 months for the rest of my life just so that I could enjoy the way I look? And that's where I think it becomes a huge problem. The fact that I liked them so much was kind of scary to me, because what if I now no longer can be okay with my face the way it was and I will only feel normal when I have fillers, and now I'm going to have to get fillers every couple of months for the rest of my life and it's going to be expensive. There would be a lot of risk, you know, I could possibly damage my face. What am I going to look like in 10, 15, 30 years time? How is this going to affect my face in the long run? And so I kind of just saw this whole problem. I just don't want to do this to myself, so I decided to let them completely dissolve. Also, you know, I was a student, I couldn't really afford to keep doing this, and I was really paranoid that if I got too many fillers, it was just going to distort my face. So I kind of just tried to stay away from it. I decided to let them completely dissolve, just see if I would notice it, how I would feel, if I would feel the need to get them done again. I just wanted to see how I felt having let them completely dissolve. This is the timeline of how long it took them to dissolve. So I had them done for the second time in January 2018. That was 2 months after my first mil. So I had about 2 mils in my lips. By 1 year later, so this was very surprising, by 1 whole year later, they were still visible, but I did start to notice like lumps and bumps after, I'd probably say like 8-9 months of having the second ones. Because, you know, I was just letting them completely dissolve, I just went with it, just let them do their thing. So that was when I got my headshots done in my final year of university, and you can kind of see like the little bump in my lip, but I didn't really mind it. And then by spring 2019, this was when we were doing our shows, and you can still see that my lips were quite plump, so they're lasting quite a long time. By the summer 2019, it was, I'd say that it was kind of mostly gone, but maybe there was still a little bit of poutiness. And by the autumn of 2019, I feel like my lips had gone completely back to normal. So I haven't calculated how long that was, but I'll put it on the screen. From 2 mils to looking completely normal again. And this will depend on the person, like it lasts a different amount of time on each person. I got my lips done again. I have had 1 mil put in for my 26th birthday. I have waited a total of 4 years between getting my lips done, 2 years and 8 months since they completely dissolved. So I'd say that's a very good amount of time. Once they had gone back to normal, I didn't feel an overwhelming sense of like, I need to get them done again. And also it was, you know, the whole global situation of what happened in the world. It was during that kind of time, no one was going out, no one was seeing each other, so it was kind of like pointless. So during that time, I guess it was quite a good time to have a break from any kind of fillers or, you know, huge beauty standards. I had met my boyfriend, my current boyfriend at this time. He felt I was beautiful, and I didn't feel like I needed to change my face. I was mainly focused on my hair. This was like during my whole hair situation where I cut off all my hair and was trying the curly girl method, and yes, there was quite a few like times where I was really unhappy with the way I looked during that whole period, during those couple of years. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I'm going off topic. So now it is 2022. There wasn't like an overwhelming like I need these fillers. I've literally just got them done like as a treat to myself, to sort of like enjoy, I don't know, just get back some of that like feeling I had when I was 22 and having the time of my life at university. But I wouldn't say that I'm like addicted to how I look with them, although I do like how I look with them. I'm gonna see how long it takes these to completely dissolve with just 1 mil, so that'll be probably a lot quicker than last time. So now on to some important topics I felt like it was really important to talk about. Excuse my hair, by the way, I've just got curling tongs for my birthday. I've never really used them before, so it's fun, but I'm still learning how to do my hair with heat since finally like started using heat for the first time. That could be a whole video in itself, the fact that I've like gotten over this whole obsession with like natural healthy hair care, and now I'm finally allowing myself to like heat style my hair. It's liberating and I effing love it. On to this point, I strongly feel, and it is pretty much a fact, that our generation is the guinea pig generation for fillers of any kind. I'd say like getting fillers in your lips and in your face only just became like a very normal thing. I'd say in the last 10 years, I could be wrong slightly, but as far as I'm concerned, like you can see it in the media, like you can see it in social media, like it's become a thing in the last 10-ish years. I'd say in the last 5 years, people have been expanding to like other areas of the face. It used to just be lips. Everyone was just doing lips. Now it's like more popular to like get cheeks, under eyes, like jaw, nose, like there's all kinds of places. And then there's of course Botox, which has been popular for like a bit longer. And the thing that worries me is that we don't have, I'm just refilming this segment because I was editing it and it didn't come across quite how I wanted. Roughly my generation from the age of like 18 to 30, we don't have anyone to look to, say in their 40s or 50s, who have been getting fillers in their face or their lips since the age of like 20. Like there isn't, I don't know if there is, please let me know, comment in the comments, but there isn't really anyone in the next generation upwards who has been getting fillers since they were 20. So we don't know what we're going to look like when we're, say, in our 50s, if we were to get a filler every 6 months from the age of 20, just as an example. Similarly, for people in like say their 30s, 40s and 50s who are now just starting to experiment with filler, they don't know how they're gonna look when they're in their 70s and 80s. And like, some people might think it doesn't matter what you look like when you're like 80 because like you're old, but I don't know about you, but I think old people can absolutely look beautiful. My grandma, she's 86, she's absolutely stunning. She's a huge inspiration to me. I want to look after my skin and myself so that I can be like my grandma, and I want to continue feeling and looking good well into my old age. Like, just because you're old doesn't mean like that's no longer important. So I think it matters that we should care about how we could potentially be disfiguring or disforming our faces for later on in life if we are to continue getting filler very regularly for the rest of our life. All we have to go by is the people that have obviously had a lot of plastic surgery and like different things like Botox, how those people have aged. Although all these aesthetic surgeons are saying that filler is completely like harmless and it just dissolves naturally into the body and blah blah blah, I still feel like if you're getting filler in your face anywhere, like every say 6 months for like, I don't know, the rest of your life, or say the next 10, 20, 30 years, surely your face is going to look distorted or changed from how it naturally was before. Not only that, but because it's such an expensive thing to do, you have to have the funds to like fund this. Like, if you're gonna be doing it every 6 months for the rest of your life, or like, what if you like lose your job, or like there's a financial disaster, or you know, something bad happens and you can no longer fund it, and then like all your filler dissolves that you've been getting for like 15, 20 years, 30 years, whatever, and you're left with your face just distorted. And like, this might be completely wrong, I don't know, this is all just speculation, this is all just my own anxiety talking, but like, this is genuinely what goes on in my head and what I worry about when I think about fillers and stuff. And a lot of people might not even care about that, but I think a lot of people live for the now and don't think about the future. And I'm the sort of person that is constantly thinking about the future and my future self and what I do now and how that will affect the future. And I don't really hear anyone speak about this because everyone just assumes that it's perfectly safe and harmless and it's not gonna distort our faces at all. And maybe that's true, maybe it won't, but I can't help but think that it will. I do plan on getting, you know, Botox in the next 5 years. Like, I would like to get Botox for my frown lines. I would like to experiment with different aesthetic procedures, just minor ones, as I age, just to help. You know, I'm not going to run away from aging. Everyone's going to age, and I'd like to age gracefully, but I like beauty and skincare, and I'd like to preserve some of my features for as long as I can and look as decent as possible for as long as possible without making myself look crazy. I will be probably getting more things done in the years to come, but I just think it's something that we should think about and just not go overboard. I also wanted to add in that obviously, because I'm still planning to get aesthetic procedures, I suppose with all this in mind, I'm just hoping to go about it in a way that is slowly and just a little bit here and there. I don't want to start having to get something that I then have to keep topping up every couple of months, not only because it's going to be expensive, but also because I just don't want to risk potentially making my face look weird. Again, I could be completely wrong. Us in our 20s who are getting filler now might get to our 50s and 60s and still look great and normal, having had filler throughout our life. But this is what I mean, how we're the guinea pigs. We don't know, like, we don't know. There's no one to look to as an example. And luckily for the generation after us, they will see us guys in our 20s and 30s who are getting fillers. By the time we're in our 50s and 60s, they will be able to see the effects of fillers, and so they're going to be the ones that are probably going to know best about how to do it. We always have to look to our generations before us to see how beauty methods and procedures work, what happens to our skin. But again, I could be completely wrong. It might be all completely fine. Don't let me scare you too much, but please just do your own research and like think for yourself, and just be careful when getting into the world of fillers, because potentially we could be screwing up our faces for the future. I don't know how else to explain this without sounding like a hypocrite, but perhaps I am. But maybe I'm just a hypocrite who is aware of the dangers of what I am doing myself, but I don't think that I am as sucked into it as a lot of other people are. On that topic, I watched a video last night about this girl who said that she had become filler blind, and her lips were like almost like the biggest you can imagine your lips being with filler. Like, they were massive, and she had filler all in her face, and she was saying how she feels she's become filler blind and she doesn't actually know what her natural face looks like anymore. So she had this whole journey where she got her filler completely dissolved, and the whole thing like went over the span of a year or two, I think. And to my surprise, I'd never seen someone's lips be that big and then completely dissolved before, but they actually looked normal afterwards, like there hadn't really been any filler in them. I always assumed if your lips have been like plumped up, when you get them dissolved or when it dissolves naturally, your lips are going to be really wrinkly and saggy because the skin's been stretched. So like surely naturally that's what would happen. Surprisingly, her lips looked really good. They looked really normal. I have to admit, I was quite relieved to see that. But I also have to bear in mind that this woman was probably in her 20s, so you know, her skin's still youthful and got a little elasticity in it. So you know, it's possible that when we become older, it wouldn't just bounce back to how it was before. Like, it might just go south. It is the reality, and that very well might happen when we get older. But anyway, so then she got her whole face completely redone, refilled. She got something like 11 mils put in, which must have been thousands of pounds. She looked lovely, but she also looked really great without any of the fillers in her face. And this is where I sometimes feel, and I sometimes feel like a hypocrite, because sometimes when I see people getting so much filler in their face, I sometimes feel a bit sad. Like I feel sad that, you know, people obviously feel so unhappy with themselves that they have to like completely change their face in order to feel okay and feel beautiful. And it kind of makes me feel sad sometimes. And then I'm like, I'm a complete hypocrite. I get my lips done. So like, who am I to like, this is why I mentioned at the beginning, like, I'm in completely two minds, and I am like challenging my own thoughts, because it completely depends on how you look at it. So then there's the whole thing about whether or not getting fillers and changing the way your face is right. That completely depends on your own beliefs. Religion, for example, a lot of people who are religious may believe that you are the way that God made you, and to change that would be going against God's plan and God's creation. And so I completely understand where people are coming from when they don't want to change their face for that reason, and I completely respect that. But then there's the other side of things where people, you know, think that the way we are born is just complete genetics, and we have the rights as adults to do whatever we want with our appearance and change things if we want. I'm also totally for that viewpoint as well. People get tattoos, people change their hair, like people change the way they dress, they express themselves, and they change the way they are to express who they feel like and how they feel. Why should that be any different for the way we look, like our actual aesthetics? Another thing I wanted to touch on was the whole thing about natural beauty, because I remember like growing up, like, I don't know, probably around the age of 14, I feel like it was drilled into me that like natural beauty was the best kind of beauty. Natural beauty was the purest, truest, best way to be. But as I've grown older, like, yes, natural beauty is beautiful, but it's also completely down to the luck of the draw and your genetics. Like, you can either be born with like incredible natural beauty, but it doesn't actually mean anything, or you can make yourself beautiful by changing your face. Beautiful as in like what is socially the standard of beauty standards. Obviously it depends on what the standard of beauty is at this current time in our lifetime. How is it any better to be naturally born lucky and have a standardly beautiful face, or decide to change it and make it that way through your own doing. Whether or not you think one is right or wrong, or you think it's okay to change your face, it's completely down to your own beliefs and your own viewpoint. I felt like it was a known thing growing up that if you're naturally beautiful, it's better, and if you've gotten loads of procedures, you're just fake, like fake, and fake is so bad. But like, is it bad, or is it just doing what we want with our face and making ourselves beautiful because we want to? Maybe we weren't genetically blessed through our looks, so we're gonna change it. Why is that bad? Like, why? I don't know. So there's like one side of me that just wants to be how I naturally am, wants to say a big fuck you to beauty standards and just grow out my leg hair, grow out my armpit hair, be the way that I came into this world, and not give a flying fuck about what men think I should look like, or what other women, or what the beauty industry, or what society in general think I should look like. And that part of me is pretty strong, and sometimes I go like a couple weeks or a month without shaving my legs or my armpits because I'm just thinking, you know what? Fuck you, I'm not doing it. And then the other side of me loves to be glamorous and likes just to play with makeup and style and hair and like aesthetics, and is inspired by like characters I see in movies and stereotypes, I guess, and different styles to play with. And that part of me is like how I present myself on my YouTube, I guess, and how I like presenting myself today. And like, you know, I've shaved my legs this week. I wore fake tan last week because I wanted to like be tanned like Pamela Anderson in Baywatch. Like, that part of me is also really strong. So I have these two different sides of myself that are constantly in conflict, and so I sometimes feel like a hypocrite if I express too much of one opinion, because at the end of the day, I understand both opinions and I am all for both sides of the argument. I do think there's a huge problem with beauty standards and the way women are viewed and used as like sexual objects in marketing. It's still going on. Like, just look at Pretty Little Things models, the way they're posed. Like, I saw, this is completely off topic, but I saw someone, I was just looking for some jeans, and like the model was posed like literally bent over in doggy style position with her ass facing the camera. And this is like just a bog standard website that everyone uses to buy clothes, and like we're constantly just being faced with like very sexualized, but then at the same time it's like, yeah, but you know, women should be able to do whatever they want, and like that's a choice. And or was it a choice? Was she made to do that? Maybe she didn't want to. I don't know, there's so much to it. I don't know, I just got me thinking like, wow, like that's, and I came off the website. I didn't even decide to buy jeans. I don't even know why I was deciding to buy jeans from Pretty Little Thing, because I try not to go on those websites. I don't know, I think I was having a moment of weakness. I'm gonna kind of wrap up the video there. It's getting very long. There's so much to talk about and unpack. But yeah, this video was meant to be just about lip fillers and my views on them. But obviously the beauty standards come into that too. It's all a part of this one big discussion and this one big topic. And I think it should be talked about. But also just, I think we should be kind and gentle to one another and let each other do what we want to do at the end of the day. But it's also just good to teach yourself and really think deeply and question your own opinions and question why you think that way. With all that being said, I really hope this video has come across in an okay way. I was quite nervous to make it because I don't really share my opinions so much on YouTube anymore, just because I get really worried about how it could be misconstrued, or like, because obviously it happens all the time to people that share their opinions. There are people out there who will like to twist your words and like pick all the bad things about a video, or not get all the facts, or not actually know anything about you and make huge judgments about you. But that is just YouTube. So I'm trying to face my fears today and just put a video out that actually has my opinions in it, and just not be scared about what people are going to say. If you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know. Give this video a like if it was insightful at all or interesting. I've got a hot water bottle on my lap, that's why it's jiggling. I have an Instagram, I have a Patreon if you'd like to see more like Patreon members only content, so like vlogs and like some of my old videos I like re-upload, stuff that isn't available on my channel anymore, extra bonus stuff I put on Patreon. I will put some more videos here of like similar topics or like chatty videos that you might find interesting if you want to listen to more or watch more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Mwah. Better put some lip gloss on for this video. Doesn't make any sense because I'm drinking a cup of tea at the same time. I'm gonna get my tea all sticky.